Silver is currently sitting at all-time highs of $52.65, and it's not looking like prices are slowing down anytime soon. And this is amid the LBMA in full crisis mode as they cannot keep up with the massive demand of silver, as everyone's trying to get a slice of the silver pie, but there's simply not enough pie to go around. I think people are starting to finally understand what I used to say when there is a massive silver shortage happening. Well, more news making this even worse is now China says no silver bullion exports. We are keeping all of the silver for ourselves. Now, China is the biggest consumer of silver, which means this situation is only going to become more dire and more extreme. So, first and foremost, welcome. Thank you for tuning into your daily silver news. My name is Silver Slayer, and if you want the latest information of what's happening across the globe and how that affects the price of precious metals, most specifically silver, make sure you click subscribe and click the bell. I cover everything and anything that happens across the globe. You gotta stay in the loop, not for my sake, for your own. There's too much happening, and I'm always going to cover it for you. I post 2 videos a day, noon and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you're not knowing what's really going on with this massive, drama happening with the LBMA and the silver situation, then go check out the video I posted yesterday at 6 p.m. I really did a deep dive into what's going on, and they mentioned that right here. Related news: LBMA short positions indefensible, sending short sellers into panic mode. That's the video that I talked about last night at 6 p.m. So after you watch this, go check out that as well. You got to know what's happening with silver. So the world is heading into a structural silver squeeze, slowly then suddenly. Right? They mention 90% of the movement happens the last 10% of the leg. That's always how things happen. Yes, it should be gradual. We might be seeing a correction or a pullback, but right now, there's just so much hype, so much money flowing into silver, even from crypto. The whole crypto world's now dumping their crypto, their Bitcoin and their XRP and flooding into silver. I mean, it is crazy. I knew this would happen eventually, but I didn't know it would be to such a big degree. Like, yes, I've been making silver videos since 2015 on this channel. I knew inevitably, when I was patient enough, that silver would break all-time highs and would push towards 100. But just the magnitude of everything kind of falling in line at once is insane. It is insane. So this person tweeted, one announcement from China and the squeeze gets lethal for shorts. Quote, China seizes silver bullion exports. Local industry demand consumes all production. That is massive. So silver's historic 2025 rally has pushed London spot to over $51 an ounce, triggering global chaos for short positions as physical supply in the West reaches crisis levels. Now, hopefully by the time this video comes out, which is noon tomorrow, the high will be even higher. Right now, the high is $52.65 on 10/13 as I record this video, 8:19 p.m. Eastern Standard. So tomorrow, when this video comes out noon on 10/14, hopefully the high is higher than $52.65. You all watching this are from the future, so you know, but right now, I'm not really sure. I do think it will break past that, because right now it's currently at 52.50, so it's only 16 cents away from its all-time high, and I'm sure a lot more volatility, a lot more pandemonium is going to happen from now until then. So, for decades, China's processing trade and modest export quotas have supplied critical flows to Western markets. Oh, and by the way, folks, I'm sure there's a lot of new stackers or potential stackers, people who are kind of, testing the waters into seeing what silver's about. If you want a safe, reliable place that has weekly specials and has been in business for over 35 years, buy from Miles Franklin. Miles Franklin is the company that Andy Schectman owns. I'm sure you've seen him around. We have weekly specials. We have great prices. All you have to do is send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Slayer sent you. In the email, they'll hook you up with a broker. Ask for a price sheet at the top. The highlighted in green items are what our weekly specials are: gold, silver, and platinum. Very reliable, trusted. You don't got to worry about anything. A lot of eBay, Craigslist, all that stuff, they're going to rip you off, or it's fake silver, or you won't get it at all, or they're just going to overprice you. It's a scam. Please, folks, buy from trusted places. I can recommend this company for sure. I buy my own silver from them. I was a broker for them. I know Andy Sheckman. He's a good friend of mine. I can vouch for him that anytime we have no negative reviews, because anytime a situation did occur, which everyone makes mistakes, God forbid, Andy will make it right. He will always make it right. It's very personal, and you can build a business relationship with us. And I guarantee Miles Franklin is going to be one of the last companies standing in terms of being able to find silver, because it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And these websites, these random people, they don't care about you. They don't know your name. They don't care. Andy, we're out here. People who buy from us are fans of ours. They're our viewers, so it's more personal. We're more willing to go the extra mile because, there's more of a relationship there beyond just buying from some random website where hopefully customer service responds or even gives a crap. See what I'm saying? But anyways, info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Slayer sent you. Any sign that Chinese authorities are freezing or even severely slowing general silver imports or exports, diverting all domestic refined production to meet local solar, electronics, and industrial demand, could render the London short squeeze catastrophic for global shorts. Current reports already show smelters favoring China's internal industry over overseas contracts, with tighter restrictions on new export licenses and greater scrutiny to prevent silver smuggling. The logistical bottlenecks, combined with negative inventory in London and tight Asian markets, mean that if China seizes silver bullion exports becomes policy even unofficially, Western banks and traders would find themselves scrambling to deliver into futures and ETF obligations with no meaningful relief in sight. In that event, the structural arbitrate that so far alleviated London's critical shortage simply vanishes, making short position nearly indefensible and sending the market into genuine panic mode. That's where true price discovery is going to start to show. Any type of price suppression that's been happening on the COMEX, right? There's a big power shift from west to east, not only just in from the COMEX or LBMA to the Shanghai, but period. Not talking about metals markets, just there's a huge power shift global, geopolitically, from the west to the east, and it's starting to catch up to us, right? It's starting to catch up to us. They were taking advantage, just like Saudi Arabia just bought 932,000 contracts on the COMEX of the SLV. They know exactly what they're doing. They're playing 4D chess, and we're just now learning how to play checkers. Shanghai Metals Market is a China-based company, and actually, I'll put it this way. We're playing chess, but we're cheating. We're beginner chess players, but we're cheating. They figured out how to play 4D chess and figured out how to make the rule, or how to set the rules where the cheating gets called out for, right? There's red flags on play, and then the price, does what it does. People like Ted Butler, I don't know if you've ever seen his work from, Butler Research. He really exposed COMEX price corruption. Rest in peace, Ted Butler. People like David Morgan, who I'm interviewing in 10 days. I'm getting Andy Sheckman on too. He's out of town till the 19th. But, I got some interviews with people to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. But the whole point of this is that silver's price, the suppression, the rigged aspect is starting to all fall down. The cards are coming to an end. The facade of this, paper to physical ratio is starting to really get exposed, and that's where silver's price really could take off. Like people who said if silver's price wasn't suppressed with COMEX, or if the paper contracts were able to equal the physical, think of the highest price you could with silver and multiply it times 10. Now, obviously, we don't live in a perfect world, and manipulation still is real. JP Morgan's they have 2 employees sitting in prison right now for spoofing, for manipulating the market. It's a messy situation, but really what you would take from this is that silver's true price is starting to get exposed. That's the main takeaway. So, overseas markets witness rare squeeze scenario with future spot misalignment as silver surges towards historic highs. So, this was written yesterday. On October 9th, the spot price broke through the key level of 50, reaching a high of 51.22. That's the record high since 1980. So they're going against the LBMA spot prices against the COMEX, saw an unusual premium expansion over $2.50. Usually it's only a few pennies, but that's crazy. That's creating a rare dislocation between futures and spot markets overseas, along with a backwardation structure. In response, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange raised margin requirements for silver and gold futures. In contrast, domestic silver prices performed relatively weakly on October 9th and 10th, with silver ingot exports becoming profitable. So yeah, and then they can go into the free circulating inventory falls below fourth. That's really what you got to focus on, is the freely circulating inventory, right? They mention right here why, right? As a large amount of spot silver is linked to ETFs and cannot circulate freely in the market, traders on Twitter have shared estimates that freely circulating silver in London is less than 4,000. And that's actually insane. I don't even know how many weeks or months that is available until it's completely wiped out. But the COMEX and the LBMA for a couple of years now have admitted that their inventories are near dry. And now with this sudden spike, people coming in from gold and crypto, you could see how it's just going to be swept out. I mean, everyone is trying to get their hands on physical silver. And then if people start turning in the paper contracts to physical, that's a whole other situation where you're going to start seeing delays or just settle in cash. SLV's prospectus mentions that custody can be in warehouses in the UK or New York, but given London's market focus on spot trading and New York's emphasis on futures trading, it's generally assumed that SLV's primary physical holdings are in London warehouses. And here we go. This is what I was just talking about. Physical inflows could ease the tightness within 1 to 2 weeks, but the process may be accompanied by significant volatility. And in actual spot market trading, SMM has learned that overseas buyers, including banks, are placing orders cautiously, and domestic warehouses have strengthened supervision against silver ingot smuggling. Supply and demand imbalances across different markets cannot be adjusted quickly, and the price gap between domestic and London markets is unlikely to narrow rapidly. So yeah, man, folks, this is getting really crazy. So here's the summary. In summary, although the rapid surge in silver prices towards its target, combined with the risk of short-term retreat after rapid rise due to overseas market short squeezes, may lead to significant volatility in the near term, prices are expected to continue fluctuating at highs over the medium and long term. And yeah, you don't want to focus on the day-to-day prices as like a decision making. Like, I know a lot of people pay attention to the price from a minute to minute, hour to hour basis. I don't even like really looking at the day-to-day prices unless I'm trying to make a big decision. But right now, you shouldn't even really be making any big decisions. I know some people are capitalizing or maybe transferring, working the gold to silver ratio. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you're taking the emotion out of it. Panic selling and impulse buying is very real. The immediate price really doesn't matter unless you're planning on selling, but nobody should be selling, So the immediate, I mean, yes, it's fun to watch and get excited and see silver breaking these all-time highs, but when it comes to, the people that actually get affected, that actually get worried if silver's down $1, for example, a lot of people are buying right now at $50, $51, $52. Let's say that a correction does happen down to like 48, maybe even 47. A lot of people are going to freak out. not realizing that that's a healthy correction. It's going down there. It's gonna go back up again. It's not like silver would just break through all-time highs, go down to 47 and not do it again, especially with all this momentum. That's just prices stabilizing higher. A lot of people don't understand that, though. They're going to panic sell. So they're gonna buy high around, the highest price, $52. They're gonna buy it, and then it drops down with the dip or the pullback or the correction, then they sell it. So they buy high, sell low. A lot of people did that during the Wall Street silver movement in February of 2021. They got in at $30 thinking silver is going to do something insane. It goes back down, they sell, then it goes back up a couple months later and they feel stupid. Don't do that. So here's another article from jpost.com. USA sends silver bars to London as historic squeeze hits. The US has shipped silver bars to London as historic market squeeze pushes prices above 50. Physical shortages and soaring premiums signal unprecedented global silver stress. It's exactly what's happening. Everyone's trying to get a slice of the silver pie, but there is not enough pie to go around. Cargo planes are now moving from New York, or moving silver from New York to London, a transportation method normally reserved for gold. I mean, some traders have rushed to book slots in the cargo holds of transatlantic flights for bulky silver bars. Like, people are going insane, like actually insane over this. I get it. A lot of people have been waiting a long time for this. Years, decades. I mean, I know a lot of you have been stacking since 70s, 80s. I got in around the 2014, 2015, era, but still, that's a decade. That's a lot of patience. For something to finally be happening, of course it's exciting. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe because I do post daily, noon and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. I have a GoFundMe link in the description if you want to check out what it's about. I appreciate everyone who has donated to the cause. It's helped me out a lot recently, mentally. Not only, I don't mean like the funds, but just, the support you guys have given me has helped me out a lot. I don't know if I'd be able to make these types of videos, if I didn't have you guys. So yeah, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys later today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. Peace.